An assassin somehow got by near the fifth hole at Trump's golf course down in Florida, the International Golf Club in West Palm Beach, shortly before 2 p.m. with an AK-47 and was apparently determined to kill former President Donald Trump. Most importantly, the former president is safe at this hour. This we know. He released a statement a short time ago saying there were gunshots in my vicinity, but before rumors start spiraling out of control, I wanted you to hear this first. I am safe and well. Nothing will slow me down. I will never surrender. I will always love you for supporting me. Unity, peace, make America great again. How many times is this man going to have to go through this? How many times are we going to have to go through this? Eric Trump said to Sean Hannity, and he nailed it, my father's running out of lives here. How many rifles are going to be in firing range of my father? Good question. According to reports, the incident happened around 2 p.m. It was at Mr. Trump's golf course, as I said, in West Palm Beach. This is a private golf course. You cannot get in. Not just anyone can come on the course. Right now, it and the area are engulfed in law enforcement personnel, as you can imagine. Reports say the former president was between the fifth and sixth hole when it happened. An armed suspect was spotted by the Secret Service detail protecting President Trump. And they were traveling about 2 holes ahead of where the former president was golfing. This is apparently the protocol that they have set up for him. And they noticed someone there. It was about 300 to 500 yards away from Donald Trump. As they ran over to the suspect, he fled the scene. Local authorities tracked down the car. One person was taken into custody. This man had an AK-47 style weapon, scope, and a GoPro camera. On the scene, it appears he meant to tape or video in some way the act of carnage he was planning. So he is alive and well right now in the custody of the feds, which is a good thing because we will have the opportunity to learn more about this man. And you can bet right now the Secret Service, the FBI, and others are going through this guy's social media. I'm sure they're at his home and interrogating him while in custody about what was behind this assassination attempt. He did not fire shots. He was shot at, according to the officials. And I'll give you just some details as we bring in our guests, our first guests. I'll play the soundbite first from the FBI presser. This is West Palm Beach Sheriff Rick Bradshaw describing exactly what happened here. Watch this.
1:30 this afternoon, call came out, shots fired. That was called in by the Secret Service. Fortunately, we were able to locate a witness that came to us and said, hey, I saw the guy running out of the bushes. He jumped into a black Nissan, and I took a picture of the vehicle and the tag, which was great. We were able to get a hit on that vehicle on I-95 as it was headed into Martin County. And they spotted the vehicle and pulled it over and detained the guy. After that, we took the witness that witnessed the incident, flew him up there, and he identified as the person that he saw running out of the bushes and jumped into the car. Now, in the bushes where this guy was is a AK-47 style rifle with a scope, 2 backpacks which were hung on the fence that had ceramic tile in them, and a GoPro, which he was going to take pictures of.
Joining me now, Buck Sexton, former CIA agent, and Bill Stanton as well. Both are former NYPD. Guys, thank you for being here. I want to tell the audience that while we don't have an ID on the shooter or attempted shooter at this moment, we do have a tweet from Carol Markowitz, who reports for the New York Post and has been on the show many times, with what she says is a picture of the man. We were told by the police he's 58 years old. We saw a picture from Carol. Again, we have not yet verified this. We have not heard law enforcement verify this, but she is down in Florida. She moved to Florida a year or two ago. And it does show a man appearing to be about that age, a white man. there's not much to describe other than that, but Carol's going to join us momentarily and explain exactly what she saw and how she has this photo. So when she pops in, I'll put you guys on standby and we will talk to her. Let me start with you on it, Buck, as somebody who is former CIA, and we've been talking about this for a while, what's happened to former President Trump. What do you make of what we know so far? And why don't we have more from the authorities now, since they clearly have him in custody? They definitely know what his name is, and they know a lot more than they're disclosing to us.
Well, there's obviously a lot coming in, Megyn, and I think to call this a second wake-up call would be to minimize at some level what the threat environment has become, which is just entirely intolerable when it comes to President Trump's safety. I mean, we got the first time around by a miracle, and we were talking about that right after it happened. By some miracle, President Trump wasn't killed by the first shooter. This time around, the law enforcement response was better, at least in this regard. They shot before shots were able to be fired at President Trump on the golf course. But it does seem that there's clearly not enough advanced security work being done by Secret Service. I was very clear before when I came on after the first, now we have to put numbers to them, right? The first assassination attempt, the second assassination attempt. After the first assassination attempt, it was quite clear that Secret Service failed miserably. And of course, the Secret Service director ended up being fired as was well deserved. And there are others who I believe have been put on essentially in paid leave.
Well, wait, though. Was she officially fired, or was she allowed to resign, Buck?
She resigned under pressure.
That's part of the, but that's part of the irritating, to put it mildly, things about what we're watching here. The accountability or lack thereof. Go ahead. Sorry, finish your thought.
Nobody in D.C., as you know, Megyn, is really fired. They're all told, you resign or I'm about to fire you.
But she deserved to be fired. Yes, I know, but some people deserve to be fired. This is actually the point Donald Trump was making at the debate the other night, that they don't fire anybody in this administration. Only he fires people. Sorry, keep going.
No, it's fine. I mean, just from the security perspective, let's just take a look at what we know and what happened. I mean, first of all, something bizarre occurred in the reporting of this. I live in South Florida. I live in Miami Beach, and I have a lot of friends, including Carol Markowitz, will be with us shortly, who are down here. We have tons of contacts in law enforcement. We know, when you're closer to these things, you hear about them more quickly. Long before this hit the wires, I was getting text messages. I think someone just took shots at Trump again, right? And then there was this reporting after it broke publicly, oh no, they weren't intending to hit President Trump. How there was this period of time for about an hour, I think, today, where that was the storyline. I want to know how that came up. That's just utterly bizarre. The Trump golf course is in a pretty nice part of West Palm Beach. Not a lot of shootouts in broad daylight, in the early afternoon.
With an AK-47.
With an AK-47 with a scope on it. I mean, it's not, so something was very weird with that. I can't give you more other than that just seems completely bizarre in retrospect. Look, Secret Service fired before he could be fired upon this time, but how somebody could get within the effective range of a scoped AK-47 and be in a position to threaten the life of President Trump a couple of months here before, less than 2 months before the election, after what happened here, it's a massive challenge, I think, to the security situation, or rather a massive challenge to those who think the security situation is in hand. And just beyond that, Megyn, the politics of this are you can't separate them. I mean, they've been saying President Trump is a threat to democracy and will destroy the country if he wins again. And they keep saying it even after he took a bullet in the ear. And now another lunatic probably decided, hey, I'm going to save the country and be a hero because I'm a psychopath and I'm going to try to assassinate a president. We're in a very high threat environment, and the rhetoric from the Democrats is completely irresponsible about this stuff, and they have not changed at all, even after Trump was shot.
Here is a discussion, a Q&A with the local authorities when they just had a presser on why President Trump did not have more Secret Service protection. A man who already almost had his life taken 2 months ago.
How was this able to happen? And for future reference, is there any security of a golf course?
Well, you got to understand the golf course is surrounded by shrubbery. So when somebody gets into the shrubbery, they're pretty much out of sight. All right. And at this level that he is at right now, he's not the sitting president. If he was, we would have had this entire golf course around it. But because he's not, the security is limited to the areas that the Secret Service deems possible. So I would imagine that the next time he comes to the golf course, there'll probably be a little bit more people around the perimeter.
Unbelievable, Bill. So he's the former president, so he doesn't have adequate Secret Service to meet the moment, which, I guess if you're talking about like George W. Bush, that maybe that would make some sense. But he literally almost got shot in the brain 2 months ago.
We were talking about this, and you were one of the first on air, Megyn. It was literally a couple of hours afterwards, before the press, as I call them, tried to suppress the real information. What you're seeing here is overall lethargy. I think the Secret Service needs a total audit from the top down, bottom up, and they have to get squared away correctly. My understanding, when that report comes out, it's going to show glaring mistakes and just, I guess, complacency and lethargy in how they act and react. The fact that they didn't get this guy, that he got that close, is a prime example of how desperately the Secret Service, while they're individually, I think they're willing to put their lives on the line, as an institution, as an agency, they really need an overhaul.
Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.